Are you struggling to connect with the right customer? Are you wondering whether your product or service is meant for the right person? Or you want to know how to actually identify your ideal client, your target audience? This is a crucial step for any business owner who aims at success. So today we are diving into that. First, to understand the importance of a target audience, an ideal client, we need to understand what it is, right? So your target audience is simply a group of people that may buy your product or service because of interest, because they have the same problem and they want to have the solution to this problem. Simple as that. Now, to identify this group of people, it is recommended to focus on one single human being that has the same problem. Why is this? For identification purpose. If I want to target a group of people, I get dispersed, I get unfocused. Whereas if I focus on one single person, all the efforts of marketing and communication that I have are representative for this single person, but we aim at the entire group of people who have the same problem. That's why to identify your target audience, the first step that we are going to take is to create our ideal client. Remember, it's not that we are going to target one person, it's that this person is representative of this group of people for whom your offer, your product is meant for. It may be that this person is going to evolve during time. That's the point. You don't need to have this person perfect in the beginning, but it's really important that you start talking and having a conversation with one single human being, because it's also easier for you, your brain, to shortcut the information, to gather the information on one single person rather than imagining that you are aiming a crowd. So the first step to create an ideal client is to identify how you solve the problem and why. To get to know this, you have two options in my perspective. You can see yourself as your own ideal client in the past. This means when you transform yourself by doing what you are doing now, therefore you understand how you felt in the beginning, what you needed, all of that, and you knew that by doing your own product, your own service, you got the best way to solve your problem. So you either know yourself at a specific point of time in the past where you tried your service, you tried your product, and this helped you solve that specific problem that you solved. That's one way. The second way is to know how your product or service helped someone else effectively. That means that you know that your product or service can help someone else's life, but providing a specific solution. That person used your service, liked your service, and got the problem solved. That's why either way, we're trying to identify how this person solved the problem and why. Why is a super important idea to have clear when building your ideal client, because when we identify why, we identify the motivation behind the purpose, behind the purchase, which is extremely important. When you understand the motivation that a person has to solve a problem, you understand the key of behavior that that person has to do something. That's what we want. So that's the first step. The second step is to have as much information of your ideal client as much as possible. Once we define this person, we need to create an imaginary human being that is going to tell us everything. I always put a name for the ideal client of my clients and of the people that I serve to. I create marketing services for people. So for each brand, for my own brand, for every single brand, I have a specific ideal client that tells me the story that they want to hear. I really recommend you to have a name, age, hobbies, how they dress, everything. As much information as you can gather of this person is crucial for you, because the easier is going to be for you to tell your story, which of course we will know later in my storytelling video at some point. A very important aspect to identify from an ideal client are the hobbies, personality type, and likes in general, or dislikes. Why? Because we want to create an emotional connection with this person, which is going to be very crucial for you when you tell the story of your brand. When you have clear what kind of emotion is behind a specific purchasing moment of this person, this is a gold information for you. This is worth gold, because the emotion is actually behind every important decision that this person has. So when you have clear an emotion and the motivation that this person has for a decision-making moment, you will have a very clear path to their heart. But more information on that later. A third step that is very important to identify your right audience is to look at competitors. Of course, I don't mean by this that you should copy someone else's job and exactly do what they want. This is not what this is about. You know me. This is about authenticity, how you find your right voice for your right brand. However, you need to stand up. You need to know what you're saying is actually relevant in comparison to what other people are saying. You're not the only one offering the same services, because we live in an open world and we love competition because that makes us better, right? That's at least my point of view. So it is very important, if you understand what others are offering, what people are saying about that offer, so perhaps you can improve this offer, or you can actually do it on your own way, giving your own voice. And in this way, people will find this connection with you based on trust, based on your own authenticity. So my advice to you is definitely go to the feedback that people give on social media, that the comments that they give to other people, so you find a little bit what is behind that person's comments and that person's idea of your competitor, so you can actually fill that gap with your own service. My fourth advice that I want to give you is definitely use analytics and AI as a tool to grow your own ideas. What I mean by this is to identify what kind of trends people have, what kind of, in a big picture perspective, what is the behavior of your ideal client, expectations, desires. And for this, AI is an amazing tool. You have analytics by Google. You also have ChatGPT, of course, in which you provide the right words to say, I want to understand what are the desires of this specific client. This is my brand. This is what I want. So AI helps you to analyze, to gather this information and compare it to your own ideas. My advice, don't give it all to AI. I think it's very important to put your own character, your own soul into this, because people will notice. If you only use AI for these kind of strategic aspects of your business, people will notice because you see that everybody's saying the same thing. What I do and what I like to advise to business owners that consult me is to, once you have your right voice, once you have a specific hypothesis that you think are the right ones to start asking, ask AI just as a tool for comparison, not as a tool for idea generation or development. The ideas are yours, connected with your heart. Don't give that to AI, in my opinion. The fifth advice that I want to give you to really go to the heart of your ideal client is the most important thing for me: validation. This simply means conducting market research all the time, as much as you can. Validation simply means ask people what you need to know in an organized way. By that, I mean every single way you feel comfortable with, by asking people. Tools like surveys, focus groups, chats, interviews, whatever it is that you feel more comfortable with, do it. But 2 advices for that. Do it in a systematic way. This means create a system of yourself where you have a specific research questions that you want to ask. Ask that in a regular basis and gather the information with keywords, with concepts, with a specific things in mind that make you organize this data. I have seen that many times, that people think I am validating a concept, I am creating a survey, I am doing a focus group, and doesn't do anything with it. The most important thing of research is actually use the data in an organized way so you can do something with it. What do we need with this validation? What do we need with this data? First, to know, to verify if what you are doing actually connects with the right people. And second, what do they actually want from you to go after, to do after? This means people will tell you exactly what they need if you ask the right questions. Therefore, you need to ask the right questions. For that, make a script of your questions. Go there and ask specifically these questions, write them down, record them however you want, put them in an Excel file or whatever you want, but use them in a systematic way so you can always find these keywords. We tend to forget what people say to us in a coffee shop, in a focus group, in a networking event. But this information is gold for you. Keep it, organize it, make sense of it, and then use it for your marketing. Because what we need to do is to say your brand messaging in the exact same way that people talk, so they feel identified with it. That's the way that you connect with your customers. That's why validation is the last advice that is connected to my DNA formula. If you're here at the end of the video, I'm really happy to reveal something that I have been conducting for years after my PhD, because I know this works. I have the theory and very practical cases where I know that if you really have these concepts clear, it's going to be very easy or easier for you to connect with your clients. So my bonus for today is very brief explanation of my DNA formula. My DNA formula goes like this. D stands for desires. Very simply, what people want. Needs. The N stands for needs and motivations, which means the specific need that we all have to do something. The motivation is that specific action that we take to supply our desire and our need. A stands for adversities and challenges. How do we start? At the bottom, the adversities and the challenge. When we understand the challenge, the problem that a person has, we can understand how the rest builds up. For example, let's say now that I am thirsty and I need some water. So my adversity is I am right now talking a lot and I need to drink something. Let's imagine this is the best water in Europe that I just bought a liter of it, and it's water coming from the Alps, which is the most pure water, let's say, in Europe. So the challenge that I have is getting into the specific problem that I'm thirsty. My adversity is the global situation, the general situation, which I need something specific for my thirst. The motivation that I have is to get the best water in Europe for my well-being. As you see, although the need is to be thirsty, what really motivates me, let's say, to buy this expensive water for the sake of exercise, is not only the need of being thirsty, it's actually the desire to have something better for my well-being. So the simple act to get an expensive water is not only the desire to calm my thirst, is the need to take care of my body with a very special water that motivates me to buy expensive water that comes from the Alps. This is not true, this is just tap water, but it's just for the sake of exercise. If I buy something expensive or any product, what is really important is not the specific desire of the basic need. It's actually the bigger intrinsic motivation that I have to do something that really gets me to buy something with value. That's what we need to get the DNA standing for desires, needs, and adversities of your ideal client. How do you do this? Just go and ask. Just simply go there. Call people. Pitch your problem. Pitch your solution. And ask, what is the motivation behind? What is the specific challenge that this person has? The more you know about your ideal client, the easier it's going to be for you first to pitch your business idea, because you have the problem set in the exact same words that this person wants to hear it. Second, to tailor your offer, because you know how this person wants the problem to be solved. And third, is going to help you big time with your marketing, because the way you market your service, the way you communicate, goes exactly to the heart of your ideal client. This is a formula that I promise you works, and I hope you like it. Thank you for watching, and see you next time in my next video. Keep being inspired.